Hi, my name is Dio and I'm the CEO of Bionic-GPT. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a new feature that's been added fairly recently to our product, that of integrations. We'll look at how we've implemented this and how to use it to connect with the thousands of existing public data sources or even your own private ones. It's important at this stage to point out we haven't implemented MCP, but have gone with a standard that already solves many of the problems with the current MCP standard. There's an associated blog post about why not MCP, and that's available on our website at bionic-GPT.com, but I'd also put a link to it in the description below. So let's have a look at what we've implemented and why. So we've implemented our integrations using OpenAPI. So this is a standard way to access RESTful APIs. The standard itself has been around for over 15 years and is production hardened. And one of the most important parts for our use is the existing authentication definitions already in the standard, which means you can create a link to a data source but have data returned based on the individual user's permissions. For example, we can create a link to Google API for access to Google Drive, but when an end user wants to use this, they authorize their own Google account, which means they access their own data, a huge advantage for enterprises with their existing permissions-based data. We support OAuth 2 for that, but as well as that, we also support individual API keys, which some services work with. Having said all that, the easiest way to show what we mean is by giving a real-world demo. So first, let's go to our integrations page. This shows all the integrations to data sources, API endpoints that have already been set up. And as you can see, I already have a couple set up. For this short video, we're going to look at the Companies House API. So this gives the latest information on UK registered companies and individuals associated with them. So data in here could be very useful to lots of different individuals in lots of different industries or sectors. But one possibility could be OSINT professionals investigating individuals or companies. So we'll look at this in more detail. So let's click on the Companies House link. Here we go. Okay. And there's several things here, and we're going to come back to this, but firstly I want to click on the edit button here. So this is where all the magic is really. So this is where we paste in the OpenAPI spec. And you can create these yourself. You can even use AI to help you create these. So in here, if you have a closer look at it, you can see each function in here has a description, and descriptions are all also available for each parameter and also the return data or the responses, along with examples. Now this information is used by the models to determine the correct function to call based on user request. Now this is very important information, but you can set one of these up by pasting your OpenAPI spec into this. Once you've done that, what you'll see is the screen present the information like this. So this is much easier to read. So here we see all the endpoints or functions that are available. So if we want to click on one of these, we can actually see the parameters that are required along with the description of the parameter and also the description of the function. If I just scroll back up here, what you'll notice is we have an add API key. So you can click on that to actually add the API key. If your OpenAPI spec specifies OAuth 2, you'll see a slightly different button here, but again, clicking on that will allow you to authorize Bionic-GPT and your installation, more specifically, to connect through to your data. So once you've done that and set up your integration, you can then associate it with an assistant, and that's how you go about using the data. So if you go across to our assistants, and again, I've got two set up here. I'm going to click on the Companies House one, and in fact I'm going to just cancel that. I'm going to go to look at the setup configuration. So as you can see here, I've got one integration. We click on to here and we manage integrations. We can see all the available integrations, and we can see the ones that have actually been attached to that particular assistant. We go back to that. We go back to edit. We see all the information that you can set up, and this includes the particular model you want to use with this endpoint, the visibility, categories, description. The instructions is also very important, or it can be. So this is the system prompt. So let's say you have multiple APIs attached or integrations attached to this. You can set up your own system prompt, and based on the integration or integrations, you can give the model additional information on how to use these and how to respond. But for our example, we're going to stick with just the specification. So let's see this in action. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to go to explore. Let's click on this. So first of all, this is an example I already set up. So let's list all the companies with Bionic in the title. So now it's going around thinking about it. This here was a function call. So if you scroll up here, you'll see the actual function that was called here. Here, search companies. And that'll correspond back to the data we looked at early on. This information now has actually been brought back. This is live information coming back from Companies House API. And we can say it's actually reporting back 185 companies with Bionic in their title, but only listing the first 20. But let's dig deeper. So let's go and have a look at specific information about a particular company. Let's pick this one here. So let's do a quick copy and paste. Give me details on, and here I'm picking on Bionic Health Innovations. So once more, the model interprets that. It actually picked a different function call, and here we go. It's actually a dissolved company. It's registered in England and Wales with a particular registration number. We also have information about where it was in, or when it was incorporated, and also the registered address. So the integrations opens up a huge amount of possibilities. Let's do one more call. Let's have a look at filings. So let's say, give me filing information for this company. Once more. Here we go. You can see a different function having been selected by the model call. And we can have a look and we can see, here we go. So there's a list of some of the filings. And we can see actually when the company itself was dissolved. Now there's lots more information you can actually go with this, including picking individuals who associate with that company. But for privacy reasons at the moment, I won't be selecting those. I won't be demonstrating those on this video. So one of the things I'd like to point out is, at the moment, I've been accessing publicly available data. You can deploy BionicGPT internally behind your firewall on your own system, and you can have this accessing your own RESTful APIs with your existing data and your existing systems, which means you can start to use AI securely with your own secure data. And after all, you're going to get best results from AI by using your own data securely within your organization. For more information, visit bionic-gpt.com, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.